Good afternoon. Jason Rzucidlo reporting for AmericaJR.com, and I'm being joined by Karl Brauer from Kelley Blue Book. How are you today?
I'm doing good. Good to see you, Jason. How are you?
Very good. So we're here at your big Best Buy Awards event, and can you talk to me a little bit about that first?
Sure. You know, the Best Buy Awards are really important for Kelley because Kelley's got a very powerful brand with consumers. They really trust the brand a lot. And we've been around for 92 years, and we've been experts in car values for most of those 92 years. We started out as a dealer pricing site, but we eventually became a very good consumer source of information. And what I wanted to do is I wanted to make sure that we were leveraging the brand to also help guide consumers in terms of which cars they should buy, not just the values, but which are the best choices in any given segment. And so we've now identified 12 popular segments that people shop for, from SUVs to trucks to cars to minivans. And we pick the vehicles that are the best ones in each of those 12 major categories so that people can really get a sense of, when Kelley Blue Book takes into account not just ownership costs or residual value, but also really like the driving characteristics of the car, the style of the car, the fuel efficiency of the car, the safety technology. When you wrap it all into one package, what are the best cars in each of these categories? And modern cars are good. It's not easy because they're all really good cars these days, but we like to feel like we can identify the best car that consumers should consider for their purchase.
Very good. I understand that the 2018 Honda Accord is this year's Best Buy, correct?
Yeah, that's the overall winner. So we identified cars in 12 categories, and those are to help people who are shopping in any major category figure out which car they should get. Then we also kind of like to give a crown to one of the cars from the model year that was just a great car in a general sense. And we were able to identify that the 2018 redesigned Honda Accord is just a great car. It just, beyond the fact that it's the best midsize sedan, it also really represents kind of a great vehicle. The engineering, the styling, the fuel efficiency, the safety, the value that you get in the money, the driving characteristics. Everything about the car is really unprecedented in not just that category, but really it's a model that all the car companies could follow for all price categories, is to do something as well as Honda did the Accord.
Go ahead and talk to me about this year's LA Auto Show. What do you think will be the hits and the misses?
I think you're going to see an interesting wide swath of kind of vehicles here. You've got kind of the typical LA cars that are very common for the show going back decades, which are these kind of performance fun-oriented cars like the i8 Roadster version of the BMW sports car, and now the ZR1 Roadster version of the top performing Corvette. So those are going to certainly be the fun cars. But then you've got some really fascinating cars. I think the QX50 from Infiniti is really fascinating because it's got great styling, and it's an SUV that's in that popular kind of mid-size category that everyone's buying, but it's also got variable compression technology in the engine. That's the first production engine to have that feature. And if you're an engineer, which I'm not, but if you are, you know that compression ratio is one of the key components to how a car performs, both in terms of fuel efficiency and in terms of power. And if you can vary those components to benefit either one, fuel efficiency or power, at any given moment, depending on what you want to do with the car and what the driver's doing, that's an incredibly flexible powertrain you've created. So I think that's really big news for the car, for Infiniti, and really for the industry in general.
And why do you think we're seeing so many new SUVs this year? People moving away from cars?
Yeah, once upon a time, committing to an SUV meant that you got to sit up high, you got to have more space, and you kind of got to feel maybe king of the road, a lot of power, but you had to pay in terms of fuel efficiency, handling, ride quality, and even safety. And now all the SUVs are really car-based. So now they're just taller riding, more cargo-efficient cars that still let you sit up high and still have all that flexibility of what you can do in terms of carrying people or cargo. So there's really no downside to buying an SUV, and it's great for SUVs. It's kind of scary for cars. A lot of car companies, a lot of car models that have been around for decades, I don't know how much longer a lot of those models are going to be around. They're just not going to ever be as appealing. That I like to say the genie's out of the bottle on SUVs. Everyone has discovered them. They're really well made. They're efficient. They're safe. They handle well. They ride well. The reason to not buy an SUV kind of is gone by the wayside.
And specifically, what do you think about the Hyundai Kona they're going to be showing off?
It's another example of the manufacturers seeing where the market's gone and wanting to make sure they're there. Hyundai and Kia were both very kind of car-oriented brands. They sold cars primarily, and they have both been rapidly changing up their model mix so they can pull in these SUV buyers. And the Kona is a great example. Hyundai just adapting to where the market's gone.
Now, I've not heard of any debuts coming from Ford, but I understand it's going to have a new Lincoln.
Yeah, we're going to see a refreshed Lincoln MKX. So that's one of their better selling mid-sized SUVs, luxury SUVs. And it'll get the treatment, and it'll have a different name that's still under embargo right now, but it'll have some updated styling, an updated name, and then we're going to see some updates to the MKC too, the smaller SUV. So both those SUVs will get updates, again, keeping up with the market and where it's going.
All right. And with FCA, I understand Jeep is going to be showing off the new Wrangler.
Yeah, and I'm really excited about this vehicle. I was fortunate enough to drive that vehicle a couple weeks ago in New Zealand and do some extreme off-roading in it. And I can't say yet what it's like because there's driving impression embargo until mid-December. But you will get to see what the car looks like and hear about all the features it's going to offer at the show. And I think the way to think about Wrangler is, just like I'm saying that they took away all the downsides of owning an SUV and that's why people are buying them, the downside of owning a Wrangler is that when you're not off-roading, it can be a little harsh, a little noisy, not the biggest room inside. And I think FCA was wise. They said, look, we don't need to make this better off-road. We need to make it better everywhere else. And I think that's what they're doing.
All right. And what about plug-in electrics or fuel cell vehicles?
Yeah, you know, we're going to see some fuel cell information from Toyota. We're going to see some plug-in hybrid information from Kia, I believe, and the new Niro. And, you know, even the Sport Hybrid Panamera that's coming, the Turbo S Sport Hybrid Panamera is coming from Porsche. We're going to see plenty of environmental, you know, friendly, green-oriented cars at the LA show this year. And that's become really, you know, probably for 10 plus years, 15 years. You know, when I first started coming to the show, it was usually very fun, warm weather, performance car oriented, like a convertible ZR1, and we'll see that. But we're going to see plenty of environmentally oriented cars too.
Oh, interesting. There's been a lot of talk about the autonomous cars, but is there going to be any on the show floor, maybe?
You know, that story and that topic always rumbles at each of these shows because every manufacturer is working their way toward that ultimate goal. I don't know if we're going to see any specific concepts that are further along than where we've already seen the concepts. Plenty of people out there have had concept cars that were going to drive themselves. The trick now is making those cars real world affordable and production capable. And I don't think we're going to see too much specifically on that, just the general reassurance from all the manufacturers that we're still doing this too. That's still coming.
And any other final comments you might have about this year's LA Auto Show?
I'm just glad to see the show as vibrant as it is. You know, the whole industry went through some tough time, you know, 6-7 years ago. And I feel like I look at today's LA Auto Show and it's as vibrant as I ever remember it being. There's a lot going on, a lot of manufacturers participating, a lot of exciting vehicles, a lot of activity. That's what these auto shows should be. They should be fun and exciting. They should really kind of get the enthusiast and the passion juices flowing for cars. And I think the show is going to do that. It's got a lot of things to excite people from every spectrum of the automotive industry.
Thanks so much. Nice talking with you today.
Thank you.
Once again, the 2018 Honda Accord is this year's Best Buy, according to Kelley Blue Book.